He was on police bail, his laptop was confiscated, and he still broke into one of the most valuable game studios, DARKWIRE, real stories from the wire, on Earth, using a TV stick he bought at a petrol station. London, September 2022. Arion Kurtaj was 17 years old. His father was a telecommunications engineer who used to bring home discarded circuit boards, dead routers, stripped modems, the gutted innards of things most people threw away without a second thought. Arion didn't throw them away. By the time he was 12, he wasn't just tinkering. He was writing automated scripts, mapping network topologies, probing systems the way other kids probed video game levels. He had severe autism, diagnosed early, and the fixation that came with it locked onto one thing and one thing only, breaking into places he wasn't supposed to be. He found Lapsus dollars sometime around 2021. The group wasn't a traditional criminal outfit. No hierarchy, no manifesto, no offshore bank accounts stuffed with ransomware proceeds. They operated on Telegram, recruited teenagers, and ran on pure disruption. Chaos was the point. Notoriety was the currency. Members doxed each other as often as they hit corporate targets. It was anarchic, juvenile, and extraordinarily effective. Lapsus dollars breached Microsoft, Samsung, Okta, and Ubisoft in the span of a few months. Arion wasn't just a member, he was one of its most aggressive operators. By early 2022, UK law enforcement had identified him. The City of London Police and the National Crime Agency had been building a picture for months: IP addresses, Telegram handles, cryptocurrency wallet traces. In September 2022, they moved. Officers arrested Kurtaj in connection with attacks on NVIDIA and BTEE. The NVIDIA breach alone had exposed 71,000 employee credentials and leaked proprietary GPU driver source code. BTEE was a telecommunications giant. These were not small targets. Police confiscated his laptop, his primary machine, the tool he'd used to run most of his operations. They released him on bail with conditions: no hacking, no unauthorized computer access, stay out of trouble. He lasted approximately 72 hours before he started planning his next move. Because Arion Kurtaj did not stop, he checked into a Premier Inn hotel in the City of London. The kind of place business people stay for one night on an expense account. Beige walls, flat-pack furniture, a TV bolted to the wall. Police were aware of his location. He was, in some accounts, under a form of informal monitoring. It didn't matter. Within days of arriving, he walked out and came back with a bag. Inside, a brand new smartphone, a Bluetooth keyboard, a mouse, and an Amazon Fire TV stick, the kind that retails for under £40. Here's where you need to understand what he actually did, because it wasn't magic. It was methodical. The Fire TV stick runs a stripped-down version of Android. Plug it into an HDMI port, connect it to the hotel's Wi-Fi, and you have a functional computing environment. Arion used it to access cloud-based virtual machines, remote desktop sessions running full operating systems on servers he didn't own and couldn't be directly tied to. The smartphone acted as a secondary authentication device and a mobile hotspot when he needed to route traffic away from the hotel's network. The keyboard and mouse turned the hotel television into a workstation. The whole setup cost less than £200. The company he was about to hit was worth billions. Rockstar Games, the developer behind Grand Theft Auto, had been sitting on GTA 6 for years. The game was the most anticipated sequel in the history of interactive entertainment. Rockstar's parent company, Take-Two Interactive, had a market capitalization hovering around $12 billion. The secrecy around GTA 6 was total. No screenshots, no trailers, no confirmed release window. Employees signed brutal NDAs. The internal development build was one of the most protected pieces of intellectual property in the entertainment industry. Arion got inside in a matter of hours. The exact vector he used has not been fully disclosed in open court, but prosecutors established that he accessed Rockstar's internal Slack workspace. Lapsus Dollar had a signature technique: social engineering. They would call IT help desks, impersonate employees, claim they'd been locked out of their accounts, and pressure support staff into resetting credentials. Once inside a Slack or Confluence environment, they moved laterally, reading internal messages, finding credentials stored in pinned posts or shared documents, escalating privileges until they reached development servers. It was low-tech in conception and devastating in execution. From that hotel television, Arion downloaded and exfiltrated 90 video clips of Grand Theft Auto 6 in active development. Raw gameplay footage, unfinished character models, early mission scripting, a female protagonist, the first in the mainline series, running through a Miami-inspired cityscape that wasn't supposed to exist publicly for another year. He posted everything to GTA forums on September 18, 2022, under the username @TPOTuberHacker. The thread went up at approximately 3 a.m. By dawn, it had been viewed millions of times. Rockstar issued a statement confirming the leak was genuine. Take-Two's stock dipped. The gaming press ran the footage wall to wall. It was the single largest leak in video game history. But here's where it gets worse, because Arion wasn't finished. Prosecutors later revealed he attempted to extort Rockstar directly, threatening to release the game's source code unless the company paid him. He also claimed in communications reviewed by investigators to have breached Uber's internal systems around the same time, a claim Uber later confirmed. 2 major corporations, 1 hotel room, 1 television, 48 hours. The City of London Police and the National Crime Agency had been building their digital case since the NVIDIA breach. Every cloud session leaves metadata. Every authentication request logs a timestamp and a device fingerprint. The smartphone Arion purchased was new, but it connected to services tied to accounts investigators had already flagged. The virtual machines he rented were paid for through cryptocurrency, but the wallet had a transaction history. Thread by thread, the trail led back to that Premier Inn. He was arrested again within weeks. This time, there was no bail with conditions. The case went to Southwark Crown Court. The trial began in 2023. Because of Kurtaj's severe autism and his age at the time of the offenses, the judge ruled he could not enter a formal plea. A jury was convened specifically to determine whether he had committed the acts, not whether he was criminally responsible in the traditional sense. The prosecution presented the Fire TV stick as physical evidence. They walked the jury through the cloud access logs, the Slack intrusion records, the GTA forums post timestamped to his session. A forensic analyst testified that the device fingerprint on the hotel network matched the session used to upload the leaked footage. Kurtaj's barrister argued his client lacked the capacity to fully understand the consequences of his actions. The jury found that he had carried out the attacks. The question of punishment fell to the judge alone. On December 21, 2023, Judge Recorder Kimberly Obeng sentenced Arion Kurtaj to an indefinite hospital order under the Mental Health Act. Not prison, a secure psychiatric facility with no fixed release date. He will remain there until medical professionals determine he no longer poses a risk to the public, a threshold that, given the nature of his compulsion and the severity of his diagnosed condition, may never be formally reached. Rockstar Games spent the following months auditing their internal communications infrastructure. Take-Two hired additional cybersecurity contractors. The GTA forums thread was scrubbed, then mirrored 1,000 times across the open internet. The footage still circulates. You can watch it right now if you know where to look. A 17-year-old with a 40-pound TV stick and a hotel Wi-Fi password cracked one of the most guarded secrets in entertainment history. From a room he wasn't supposed to be using, on bail for crimes he'd already committed, under the noses of the officers who thought they had him contained. The room has been cleaned and rebooked dozens of times since. Whoever stayed there last had no idea what happened in it. That's the part that should keep you up at night. Not that Arion Kurtaj was a genius, but that the gap between a determined teenager and the inside of a billion-dollar company was, in the end, smaller than a hotel TV and a shopping bag from a petrol station.